Hello and welcome to the One-Stop Spreadsheet's Ultimate Habit Tracker tutorial. In this video, we'll review how you can get your copy of the template, set it up, and use it. We'll also go over some important points and tips that you should keep in mind while using the spreadsheet. When you purchase the spreadsheet, you will get access to this PDF. This PDF includes a link to this YouTube video tutorial and a link to the blank spreadsheet that you can make a copy of and start using. So let's take a look at the spreadsheet now. Just click here to access your spreadsheet. First, make sure you're signed into your Google account. Once you're signed in, you should see this page. Click on Make a Copy. And shortly after, your copy of the spreadsheet will appear. Now you can go up here and rename the spreadsheet. Click 3 times on this text to select the entire name, then type the name you want to give your spreadsheet. I'm going to name mine 2024 Habit Tracker, and then hit Enter. For the best user experience, I recommend using the Google Chrome browser on your computer when editing the spreadsheet. If you want to use your mobile device, make sure to tap on the 3 dots in the top right corner of the Google Sheets app and choose View in Light Theme. You'll notice the spreadsheet has multiple tabs. This Quick Start Guide tab, which includes tips, common issues, and how to resolve them, a link to the video tutorial, some contact information, and some formatting tips. A Planner tab where you'll enter your daily habits and goals. A Habit Tracker tab for tracking your daily and weekly habits for every month of the year. An Annual Dashboard tab with an overview of your annual progress. And a Terms of Use tab with important information you should review on your own time. Once you've reviewed all the information in the Quick Start Guide tab and feel comfortable using the spreadsheet, you can delete this tab. To do that, right-click on the Quick Start Guide tab and select Delete, and then OK. The first thing I want you to do is to click on File, then Settings, and choose your time zone from the drop-down. This ensures that the smart calendar in the spreadsheet will switch to the next day based on your time zone. Once you've selected your time zone, click on Save Settings. We're going to start by filling out the spreadsheet in the Planner tab. Before we get started, I'd like to point out that the amount of space the main area of the spreadsheet takes up on your screen may vary depending on your screen size. In my case, I have a large screen, so I see some extra white space over here. We can adjust this by modifying the zoom setting. You can experiment with the values until you find one that works best for you. For instance, if I type 150 and hit Enter, the spreadsheet fits perfectly on my screen. Also, if you'd like to see more of the spreadsheet and less of the Google Sheets UI, you can go to View and select Full Screen. To exit full screen mode at any time, simply press the Escape key on your keyboard. There are cells in the spreadsheet that you can edit and cells that you should not edit to avoid breaking the preset formulas. In the Habit Planner, the only parts you can edit are the start date, streak carryover, the daily habits cells, and the goals cells. The rest of the sheet is not editable. If you try to modify a cell that shouldn't be changed, such as this one, you'll see a warning pop up, letting you know that you're attempting to edit a protected part of the sheet. If you see this warning, make sure to hit Cancel. To avoid breaking the spreadsheet layout and formulas, do not cut and paste data, drag cells, or move them from one place to another, or add or remove rows or columns. If you accidentally perform any of these actions, use Command-Z on Mac or Control-Z on Windows to undo the changes. I'm going to set my start date to August 24th. You can double-click this cell and a date picker will appear. You can choose any day of the year as your start date. Next, I'm going to choose whether I want my streaks to carry over from month to month. If you want your streaks, meaning the number of habits completed on consecutive days, to carry over from one month to the next, leave this as Yes. If you prefer to have individual stats for each month, click on this arrow and choose No. Keep in mind that you can always come to this Habit Planner tab and adjust this setting as needed. Next, we'll enter the names of the daily habits you want to track. For example, you might include habits like Plan My Day, Stretch for 10 minutes, Drink 2.5 liters of water, and so on. I suggest keeping your habit names descriptive to increase your chances of following through. For example, instead of simply writing stretch, use stretch for 10 minutes. Or instead of read, put down read one chapter. Once you've entered your habit names, you can start setting your goals. Since I'm starting to track my habits on August 24th, I'll enter them here. With 8 days left in August, I'll set my goals accordingly. For instance, I want to plan my day every day, so I'll set the goal to 8. For stretch for 10 minutes, I'll set the goal to 7, and for drinking 2.5 liters of water, I'll set the goal to 5. If you don't want to track a specific habit in a certain month, you can set its goal to 0 for that month. If you're just starting out, you can enter your best estimates for the goals. As you track your progress and gather real data from previous months, you can always return to this planner to set or adjust your future monthly goals. Once you're done filling out the goals for the current month, you can go ahead and set the goals for the next month. Be sure to pay attention to how many days are left in each month. If you have a good idea of what your goals should be for each month, you can fill out the remainder of the goal cells for future months. However, I recommend setting goals for about 2 months in advance, especially if you don't have solid data on how many of your habits you can realistically complete each month. Keep in mind that you can always return to this planner and adjust your goals as needed. I'm done filling in my habits and the goals for August and September. You can see the annual goal totals populated here and the monthly goal totals populated down here. If you scroll up, you can also see the monthly goals visual representation as a chart for the months you set goals for. This habit tracker allows you to track up to 35 daily habits. Once you're done entering your habits and goals, you can hide the extra empty rows. To do that, find the first row that you want to hide. I usually like leaving a couple of extra rows, but it is totally up to you how many of the empty rows you want to hide. I'm going to hide the rows starting from this one. To do that, I'm going to click on this row. Make sure you don't accidentally drag the rows. Then I'm going to scroll down and find the last row. Regardless of whether you're using a Mac or Windows, press and hold the Shift key on your keyboard and click on the last row you want to hide. The rows you're trying to hide should now be selected. Right-click on the selection and click on Hide Rows. You'll notice that this warning pops up, and in this case, we are going to click OK. If you need to revert the changes, you can always use Command-Z on Mac or Control-Z on Windows to go back. I'm going to click Away, and if you look closely, you'll notice that we have these 2 triangles where we hid the rows. If you need to unhide the hidden rows, click on one of these, click on OK if the warning pops up, and your hidden rows should show up again. Now we can move on to the month where we're starting to track our habits. In my case, that is August, so let's head over to the August tab. First, let's take a look at which parts of this sheet are editable. The checkboxes, the notes section, and the weekly habits and their checkboxes are editable. The rest of the sheet is auto-populated and shouldn't be edited. Let's scroll to the daily habits section. Here, you can see that the habits and their goals are auto-populated based on the information you entered in the planner. For me, it's August 24th, and you can see that date highlighted up here. Make sure you're in the correct monthly tab, and you should see your current date highlighted for you. Now, I'm going to check off some habits that I've completed today. Once I've checked my habits for today, this section will update. You'll see the count, percentage progress, and streaks here. Keep in mind that the template takes the current date into account when calculating progress. So if you check off a habit on a future day, it won't count toward your progress until that date. If you scroll all the way to the top, you'll find that the dashboard section has also been populated. Here you have the start date, end date, the number of days left in the month, the number of daily habits, and the number of daily habit goals. These daily habit goals are broken down into completed and remaining. For today, I've checked off 4 habits, so you'll see that I have 4 completed and 63 remaining. These 3 green circles up here show your daily, weekly, and monthly progress. The blue circle represents your momentum, which indicates your pace in completing your goals based on how many habits you've completed over the previous days. If your momentum is below 100%, like mine is at 48%, it means that by the end of the month, you'll have completed 48% of your habits if you maintain the same pace. On the other hand, if your momentum is above 100%, it means you'll reach your goals before the month is over. If your momentum is exactly 100%, you're right on track to achieve all your goals by the end of the month. Before I show you the rest of the dashboard sections, I'm going to change the date on my computer and check some more habits. I've now changed the date to the end of August and checked additional habits. In the top right, you can see your top 5 habits. These are the habits you've completed the most throughout the month. The bright color represents how many times you've checked off each habit, while the faded color shows the remaining. Below that, there's a chart showing your top 10 active streaks. Active streaks are habits that you've checked off on consecutive days. Below that, you can see the progress and streak count for each individual habit. To the left is the number of completed habits over your goal. To the right are the progress percentages and progress bars based on these percentages. These progress bars are color-coded. If the completed percentage for any given habit is less than 40%, the progress bar will be red. If it's between 40% and 59%, the color will be yellow. For a completion rate of 60% to 79%, the bar will be blue, and anything 80% or above will be shown in green. This way, at the end of the month, you can easily see how you did with each habit, which ones you did well on, and which ones need more attention. This also helps with planning your goals for future months. The last chart here is a visual representation of your daily progress. Now, let's scroll down to the Daily Habits Overview section. Just like we did in the Habit Planner, you can hide the empty rows here. So I click on the starting row I want to hide, then scroll and find the last one. Press and hold the Shift key and click on the last row. Then, right-click the selection and click Hide Rows. If the pop-up shows up, click OK. Here, you'll find daily progress charts, the number of habits you've completed daily, the number of habits you've completed weekly, your weekly goals, and your weekly percentage progress, and their associated progress bars. Now, let's take a look at the weekly habits section. This section is for habits and tasks that you do infrequently and don't want to track daily, such as cleaning the garage, meal prepping, or doing laundry. You can enter your weekly habits at any time. It could be the start of each month as you're planning your month. It could be during the month, or you can even plan them for the months ahead by going through each monthly tab and entering them under the week that you plan on completing them. For example, if it's still the 4th week of August, I could enter laundry and meal prep under week 4 and plan garage cleaning at the end of the month. I could then check these off when I complete them. You can enter the same weekly habit more than once under the same week. For example, I could have laundry more than once under the same week. Keep in mind that these weekly habits are flexible, and you can always adjust them as needed at any time. I've now entered some more weekly habits. At the bottom of each week, you'll see the weekly progress. On the left side, you have the weekly habits, their goals, how many you've completed, and how many remain. Below that is your weekly habits overview chart, which shows the number of habits you've completed each week in a bright color and how many you have remaining in a faded color. At the bottom right, you have a chart showing your monthly progress for all weekly habits. That's pretty much all you need to know for the monthly habit tracker. Next, we'll take a look at the annual dashboard. This sheet is completely auto-populated, so you shouldn't enter any data here or make any changes. At the top, you'll find sections for annual momentum, monthly progress, quarterly progress, and total progress. On the left, you'll see stats similar to those in your monthly dashboard, except these numbers represent your stats for the entire year. In the center, there's your annual progress overview chart. The green bar represents your completed habits, the blue dashed line shows your goals, and the red dashed line indicates the remaining habits. Currently, I've only checked off my habits for the month of August. As you complete the remaining months, this data will update automatically. One thing I want to point out about the annual momentum is that right now we've only set goals for the month of September and a few days in August. So the template calculates your pace based on these 51 habits you've completed out of the total 347 goals, and with respect to when you started and how many days are left till the end of the year. Once you get an idea of what to set your goals and enter them for the remaining months, the momentum will adjust to show your pace in completing your habits for the entire year. So if I go back to the planner and enter my goals for the remaining months, you'll notice that the annual momentum updates. Again, you can fill in all your goals up front and then adjust them later if needed, or if you're just starting out, do a couple of months, figure out what you want to set your goals for the remaining months, and then enter them when you're ready. On the top right, you'll see the top habits chart, which displays the habits you've checked off throughout the year, ranked from highest to lowest. You'll also be able to see the number of completed in bright colors and remaining instances in dimmed colors for each habit. Now, let's scroll down to the next section. This part shows your detailed annual progress. As you can see, I've only filled in August, so my progress is displayed here. Now, I'm going to change my computer date to the end of the year and check off some more habits. I've now set my computer date to December 31st. As you can see, for every month you reach or exceed your goal, you'll see a green check mark. If you don't meet your monthly goal, a red X will be shown. This allows you to easily evaluate your progress for each habit throughout the year. To the right, you'll find the annual count and percentage progress for each habit. Similar to the monthly dashboards, these bars are color-coded in the same way. If you want to hide the empty rows so you don't have to scroll through them and to see the totals right under your numbers, you can do so using the same way we did for the habit planner and the August dashboard. Click on the first row, hold Shift down, and click on the last one. Then right-click the selection and choose Hide Rows. Now, let's scroll down to the weekly habits section. This section provides information on the weekly habits you filled in. On the left, you'll find stats similar to those in the monthly dashboard, but reflecting your annual figures. The weekly habits overview chart displays your goals, completed habits, and remaining habits for each month of the year. To the right, you'll see a chart showing your top 10 weekly habits that you completed over the year. Below it, you will see a chart showing your total weekly habits progress. And lastly, in the center, there's a pie chart showing the breakdown of your completed weekly habits over the year. This wraps up the tutorial. I'm dedicated to continuously enhancing this template, so to stay up to date on the latest improvements, new product releases, and useful tips and tricks, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for purchasing this product. If you enjoy using this spreadsheet, I would love to hear about it. Please consider leaving a review. If you have any questions or run into any issues, do not hesitate to contact me. The link to my store and this product is in the video description. Remember, every tiny step you take toward building better habits adds up to significant progress over time. Stay consistent, stay committed, and watch as your small daily efforts compound into extraordinary results. You've got this.